Now let us see how we can create a virtual machine, but this time using ARM template. And nowadays it is more commonly ARM template which is used when compared to PowerShell also. So what is the benefit of ARM template? Remember, ARM template by itself is one big topic which I am going to cover later. But right now, what are the different ways of creating a virtual machine? Portal, PowerShell, ARM template, and we can also do it using C#, which I am not going to do because it's never done. Somebody who is a C# developer can do it on their own. You can see the documentation and ready-made code template you will find. Copy that and make changes to the properties or make changes to the variable values and you will be good and fine. But what is the benefit of using ARM template over PowerShell? Portal is the easiest way, that we have all pretty well understood. But Portal is not always the choice. If I want to create 100 virtual machines, obviously going through Portal is going to be a very painful task. Every time we'll have to perform all the actions. So that is not the appropriate choice of mine. So what is the best option? Yes, that is when I would like to go for PowerShell. Through PowerShell automation. Can we do the whole coding in loop? While loop I can put and do it. We have not done it, but anybody who has knowledge of PowerShell, little more in depth, you can put a for loop and while loop and then execute all those commands in proper order and create multiple virtual machines on the fly. But then there is a big concern with PowerShell. That is, if any kind of command in between fails, PowerShell script will stop executing there. It will not proceed further. And problem is, next time you run the PowerShell script, again it will start from scratch. It will not continue from where it left last time with an error. You'll have to probably reset the whole environment and then recreate the whole thing once again, and that's going to be very tedious. That is where ARM template becomes an advantage. Now what we do in ARM template, we are going to write requirement of all the resources as JSON objects. Everything we want will be in the form of JSON objects. So basically ARM templates have a skeleton. So on top we are going to provide list of all parameters. We are going to provide variables and we are going to provide resources. That's how the section is, these three. All the parameters will be declared here, all the variables will be declared here, and then all the resources will be declared here. And all of them are in the form of JSON objects. So this is the example. We have to write schema, what schema we are going to follow, so that all these attributes, properties will be validated. These are the two parameters I have given. One is for username and the other is for password. Remember, these are only parameter declaration. We did not give any value. We are creating a template. There will not be data in the template most of the time. The data to the template will be provided through parameters. So all those things which are variables, all those things which we want to come from outside at the time of executing the template should be provided in parameters. Then we also have variables. Variables are most of the times having value which is computed value we can say. Here it is of course a constant value I have given, but you can have some computed values as well here, like this case concatenation. I am doing a concatenation of this variable comma this value appending to it. So like that, multiple variables which we want to reuse in the rest of the resource creation, you can declare it in the variables section. Remember, parameters will be given value at the time of calling the template or at the time of executing the template. But variables are not given value. They are just computed. We don't take input for variables. We take input only for parameters. Then we have resources. This is one resource. Now, just to make it little colorful, I would probably want to copy this in some JSON editor. I'm using Visual Studio. File, new. We'll get proper colors for the keywords and we can collapse the sections. So it will be more easy to understand when we are doing it from here. So delete this and paste everything which I copied from there. So this is my template. And you see these are all resources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these are resources. Now what do we have here? For each resource, we have to specify what is the type of that resource. For every resource, we have to give a type. And these are predefined values. You have to figure out from the documentation what is the type of the resource. We are supposed to give the name. When we create through portal also we give name, right? The same name we have to give here. We have to give location. I'm taking it from the resource group location. Whatever is my resource group, that location I'm taking. Remember, ARM templates, these are called as ARM templates, Azure Resource Manager templates, are not going to have facility for creating resource group. Resource group is always created from outside. And in that resource group, we are going to execute this ARM template. So that is the reason directly from resource group, readymade function dot location. We'll have to get that. Now, you will see these are extra properties which we are supposed to provide for every resource. Based on the type of resource, these properties are going to be variables. Now you will see in certain case there is something called as depends. Here, depends on. You don't have it in all places. You have it only here. What does this mean? For creating virtual machine, first it should create a NIC, network interface card, and it should create a storage account. These are two resource names which we have given on top. This is resource type / name. That's the syntax. Resource type / name. So these two things we have given on top. Only after completion of these two, this particular resource can be created. That's what is depends on section. And of course, this is the virtual machine. Virtual machine itself has properties. And it is hardware profile, what is the size of the virtual machine basically, and then OS profile, operating system, username, password, the name of the computer, the storage profile where the image is going to be stored, the OS disk. Within storage profile we have got OS disk. Within storage, OS disk, and then we have got network profile for basically your NIC. So all this is complete information but in JSON format. Now once you have this information, what are we going to do with it? This is one file. We can call this as, let us say, what? Virtual machine template.json. Now we need another file which is also a JSON file, and that's going to be the values for the parameters. We have the parameters. For those parameters we have to provide the value. So I save this now. virtual machine parameters.json. Good. Now time to execute these two for creation of virtual machine. Now for execution alone, I mean you have multiple options again, but one such option is to make use of PowerShell. So I go to now PowerShell. Log into your account. With the username and password provided, it will show me the context. And then we have to first execute this, which is for creating a resource group. So my context subscription is Visual Studio Enterprise. I am fine with it. And now I create a resource group by name so and so in East US. Resource group is created. Now under this resource group, in this particular location, I want all those resources mentioned in the template to be created. So that is what is this command. Simple, nothing special. New Azure RM resource group deployment. New Azure RM resource group deployment. Please remember this. You have to give the resource group name, the template file, which I have it in virtual machine temp.json and virtual machine parameters.json, and that's it. Run. Could not find the file, spelling mistake. Virtual machines. Virtual machine temp. This is correct. Virtual machines. Virtual machine temp virtual machine. And that's it. It's going to execute in background and create the virtual machine. But what is the benefit? How is ARM template better than using PowerShell? The advantage of ARM template, let it go in the background. The advantage here is, suppose this storage account is already created. This IP address is created. And most important, are these dependent on anything? Now, because these are not dependent on anything, they are going to get created in parallel. Azure will create them in parallel, not one after the other. So one obvious advantage is creating resources through storage is much faster when compared to creating resources using PowerShell. 2. If suppose after creating this 2, something goes wrong in this case. Imagine my IP is not correct or my virtual network is not supporting this and this goes wrong. Now suppose if this goes wrong, next time I come here, make changes and run this, it will not recreate this. This is already created. It will continue from where it has stopped last time. So the resources which are already created, you don't have to drop and recreate them. That is the basic advantage. You just need to continue from where you are and that's it. So right now I have shown you how a parameter file can be mentioned, but there is overloaded version of this where these parameters what we have here, we can put it in this command itself. So suppose I want to create 100 virtual machines. What am I going to do? I will put new Azure RM resource group deployment in the loop. I'm going to put this in the loop. And for all 100, I'm going to provide the same template file and different values for parameters. Or else you create 100 template files for 100 parameter set. It's your choice. 100 parameter files you create and use them here one by changing the file name, or else you provide the parameters here itself, and you can do that. See, right now I'm talking more about ARM templates, which actually is not required. Our target is creation of virtual machine through ARM template. More about ARM templates I am going to speak much whenever I am teaching you ARM templates specifically. We'll go a little more in depth. But the conclusion is, after this is all over, we'll have the virtual machine up and running. So this is how using ARM template one is able to create a virtual machine. And what? You don't even have to type all this. You don't have to type all this. What you can do is simply go to the portal, select your existing virtual machine, and choose your automation script, and you find the ready-made template. Copy this and make changes. Of course, this is much bigger compared to what I have shown you in handout. This is much bigger, but it's all repetition. So copy this. You have the parameter file. You can put the values relevant there, and you have the parameter file. Like this, you can even use CLI commands for creating a virtual machine. Command line interface commands can be used for creating a virtual machine. I don't want to touch this right now, but yes, here we are creating a subscription, creating a resource group, and of course, this is not a CLI. This is also using the template only, but there are commands where you can directly create virtual machine through CLI, like we do it through PowerShell. We'll see PowerShell and CLI later. Same, new Azure ARM resource group deployment. Same, what I have shown you in the handout, it's from here. And then you have .NET C# code for creating a virtual machine. In case you want to do that, here also actually template is only being used. But there is a proper REST API also available for creating a virtual machine out of your C# code. You can do that. Ruby also they have given. I don't know how. I don't think .NET developers or Ruby programmers are ever going to create virtual machines. No. Most of the time it will be either using PowerShell or using templates, ARM templates. The virtual machines are going to be created. Thank you.